Alright, so I feel like the hardest part in the mornings whenever it comes to filming a video is getting started with just talking, so I'm just gonna start talking. You guys are getting pumpkin spice flavored coffee, black coffee, Naoki, just woke up, Steven, the pup. So this video right here is gonna be kind of like a raw, uncut video about bulking. What I'm currently doing for my meals, how I recommend people go about their bulks, and then tips and tricks that I have for gaining weight, trying to gain mass, trying to gain muscle, because that's something that a lot of people seem to struggle with. But alright, so let's get started. Eat. Now the thing is that whenever people hear bulking, there's like a bad thought process about it. Like, you think of people getting really fat and stuff like that, but that's not what I think of whenever it comes to bulking. Instead of saying bulking, I like to use the term gain phase or off season, because it makes more sense to me. It doesn't have that like bad thought behind it like the word bulking does, and it makes more sense because the goal with bulking, of course, is to gain quality mass, not a whole bunch of body fat, I guess you could say. You're still gonna gain body fat, of course, but you know, not like who's a good example? I guess like the Jay Cutler, the famous Jay Cutler bulk kind of thing. So anyways, bulking. What am I currently doing? 3 different sources of protein. Right now, one being eggs, next being chicken. Normally, if it's not chicken, it's like tilapia. And then next being whey protein, a scoop of whey protein, just to make sure I keep my protein high. My protein right now is about 210 grams per day, 210, 220, give or take a little bit. It differs here and there, depending on the protein source. And then my carb source, my carbs are around like 330, 350 per day, again, give or take. And then my fats are always around, I'd say like 80 to 110. Because my fats, they fluctuate a lot depending on the meats I'm eating, right? Now the foods that I eat, I keep it as clean as possible, and this is another thing that I see a lot of people go like haywire on whenever they get into a bulk, is they think they're bulking now so they can eat whatever they want, right? I mean, if you have problems eating, problems gaining weight, and you need to, then I'd say go for it. But for the most part, most of us don't need to be. Like, you have to be honest with yourself whenever dieting as well. Whenever it comes to this stuff, you have to be honest. But most of us don't need to be adding in a whole bunch of junk food to meet our caloric intake, at least early on. Deeper into the bulk, you might have to because your appetite's completely gone, but early on, we should be able to keep the foods that we're eating to meet the amount of calories that we need to gain weight as clean as possible. And the reason for this is because, I mean, it's not just about, like I already said, it's not just about getting in a lot of calories. I mean, if you have problems eating, then of course go for it, but it's also about the nutrients that we're taking into our body. Our goal whenever bulking is to supply our body with the nutrients it needs to recover properly to like the best of its ability. So of course, why would you try to give your body 1,000 calories of ramen to recover over like 1,000 calories of avocado, rice, and I don't know, some sort of meat, right? So whenever it comes to bulking, that's kind of how I go about it. Whenever I'm cutting, the foods that I'm eating whenever I'm dieting for like to lose weight, and then the foods I'm eating whenever I'm dieting to gain weight are basically, they're relatively the same. The only thing that changes is that I don't have calorie dense foods whenever dieting to lose weight. So I won't have like avocado and cheese and stuff like that. I'll still be having eggs, egg whites, and healthy. I'll still be having all my calories from nutrient dense healthy foods. The food choices just change based off of how many calories are within those foods, if that makes sense. Now whenever bulking, I am also a little more lenient. So like once per week, I might go out and like have some sort of off-plan meal, just kind of help with getting in calories and just kind of enjoy myself, because of course you don't have to be like 24/7 anal. You can go out and enjoy yourself a little bit, but for the majority of the time, if the goal is a quality gain phase, you want to keep the food quality, right? Quality food, good nutrients and high quality food, basically. Another thing to do whenever it comes to bulking is to figure out what foods fit well with you for digestion. So personally, I can't eat rice that I can eat rice, but I don't like to eat rice whenever bulking nor whenever cutting, because rice gives me it makes me feel sluggish. However, something I can do like non-stop is pasta. I can eat a ton of pasta and have no problem with it. So I can't do pasta whenever cutting because of course I'll eat too much, but whenever bulking I can eat as much pasta as I can and not get full. So yeah. So simply put, right now my bulking looks like about 4 to 5 meals every single day. If it's 4 meals, the meals are going to be about, let's see here, say 800 calories per piece. If it's 5 meals, that goes down to about 500, 600 calories per piece. I space my carbs out around my training windows for the most part. Kind of like feel my body, because we're going into training, so we're going to want those carbs for the training. Then after training, we're going to want something to keep us going so we can sustain our activity throughout the rest of the day. So yeah, and that's the same for cutting as well. Now tips and tricks that I give to people, or just like straight up honesty that I can give to some people for bulking, people that are trying to gain weight and seem to have problems, is tip number 1, stop lying to yourself. If you think you're eating enough, if you think you're eating enough but you know you're not eating enough, stop lying to yourself. This is for the people that say they're eating like non-stop 24/7 and still not gaining weight. Listen, my little brother who's trying to gain weight, and then my father who's also trying to gain weight, they're these kind of people. And basically what they did this morning is they got up. My little brother, he's going over to stay at like my grandparents, so he got up early this morning. What did he eat? Nothing. What is he going to eat whenever he gets over there? Guarantee it's going to be nothing. He's probably not going to have his first meal until like 12 o'clock, and that first meal is going to be a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And then he'll have dinner, so he'll have like a total of 1,500 calories throughout the day, and he'll say, I'm eating. That's not enough food. You have to have at least 3 solid meals a day. I'd say with every single meal, a solid protein source, a solid carb source, then some sort of health. So some sort of like vegetable or some sort of fruit, even though fruit can kind of be like your carb source. I mean, for some people it's just hard to take in the food, hard to take in calories because you don't have an appetite. For other people it's really easy to take in calories. Now for these people that have a hard time taking in calories, I say change your food sources to everything being high calorie, high dense food. So if you're having eggs, whole eggs, no egg whites whatsoever, throw in some bread, throw in some butter, throw in some oils. Do not be afraid to use oils, do not be afraid to use butter, do not be afraid to use peanut butter especially. And then if you're going to have like a snack on the side, don't do like berries, don't do like, I don't know, that kind of stuff. I mean, you can if you want, throw it in a shake, but I recommend more like nuts, because nuts are so high calorie and they're very easy to take in, just continue eating. So like have 3 handfuls of nuts for your snack instead of 3 handfuls of berries, because nuts, they have nutrients with them as well, so you're still going to be taking in some nutrient dense food. And then of course you still want to keep your health up, so do have some vegetables here and there. However, you don't want to fill up your stomach too much with that volume, I guess you could say, if you have problems eating. So I mean, whenever it comes to gaining weight, it just comes down to eating. Make sure you're eating enough. So the final thing, I think I've been looking like shit this whole entire video, like neck bent over. The final thing I can say is, whenever you're training, make sure you train hard. A lot of training these days has been pussified. From what I've seen, people have been doing like RP. See, it's been pussified, and then they haven't been making progress. So what I mean whenever I say that is that people will go into the gym, they'll do like 2 sets their whole entire workout, where they're actually pushing themselves to failure. There's a thing that I like to think of that's like, I don't know, I heard a Japanese guy say it. He said, oikomanai toreiningu wa nan no toreiningu, or something like that. And basically that translates to, what kind of training is training where you don't push yourself to the limit? And that's how I like to think, right? So people go into the gym, maybe do like 2 sets the whole entire workout where they actually push themselves to the limit, and they're in a bulking phase or something like that, and you know, they go by, a year goes by and they make like barely any progress, if any at all. I know some people that this has happened to basically, and they're finally starting to like open their eyes a little bit, think a little bit, and be like, oh damn, I need to start training harder. But yeah, so train heavy, train to hell, eat heavy, eat to hell and back, and yeah, you'll gain weight, gain muscle, and gain strength. So that's all it really takes, along with sleep, for recovery and a proper program. But the base is going to be your training and your diet. if you want to gain weight, you have to make sure you're eating enough. And if you want to gain strength, gain muscle, you have to make sure that you're training really hard, day in, day out, and then giving yourself enough recovery and rest time for the muscles to recover, along with joints and stuff like that as well. But yeah. Anyways, quick little raw video of me making my breakfast here. Eggs, and I'm gonna have a bagel as well with some peanut butter. This meal right here is gonna be about 750 calories, and I'm gonna have some vegetables and fruit on the side as well. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Just quick little, really raw talk kind of video, and yeah, catch you guys in the next one.